guys, welcome to Ron's Rise. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video where what? Fiat Chrysler seeks merger with Renault to create the world's third biggest car maker. News coming out right now that if successful, the $35 billion plus tie-up could alter the competitive landscape for rivals. So here to break the news to you guys, if you don't know where news just broke, Fiat Chrysler is proposing a merger with the French carmaker Renault aimed at saving billions of dollars for both companies. Now, car makers are facing a huge challenge. Global sales are falling at the exact same time they need to be spending more to develop electric and autonomous vehicles. There's also new competition from the likes of Tesla and Uber. The pressure is forcing established automakers into arrangements that allow them to shore up revenue while sharing costs. Now, this isn't a big secret, but there's been talk of consolidation for a long time, and Sergio was a big component. It's not surprising that it comes now. But car makers really need to focus on the future of transportation. And the first major problem is flagging sales. In China, annual car sales declined for the first time in 2 decades last year amid economic weakness and the trade war with the United States. Sales of cars in the United States are also sliding. FCA sales dropped more than 3% in the first 3 months of 2019 compared to the previous year, and we touched on that before. Now, meanwhile, the amount of money that car companies need to earn mark for research and development is ballooning, especially because the competition with Silicon Valley is heating up. A number of car companies have responded to this pressure by making cuts. Ford last week announced that cutting 10% of its salaried staff worldwide in order to save $600 million a year. Yet others are moving to deepen partnerships and alliances so they can spread out development costs. Now, Fiat Chrysler pitched a finely balanced merger of equals to Renault on Monday, which was yesterday, and that's in a move to cope with the cost of far-reaching technology and regulatory changes by creating the world's third biggest car maker. If successful, the US $35 billion plus tie-up would alter the competitive landscape for rivals, including General Motors and Peugeot maker PSA Group, recently held inconclusive talks with Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. Now, the Italian-American group plans, which was finalized in the overnight talks with Renault, would be discussed at a meeting of French company's board on Monday, and that just happened. Investors welcomed the blueprint for an automaker producing more than 8.7 million vehicles a year and aiming for 5 billion euros, all right, 5.6 to be exact, on the annual savings, with shares in both companies rising sharply. Now, it would rank third in the global auto industry behind Japan's Toyota and Germany's Volkswagen. But analysts also warn of the big complications, including Renault's existing alliance with Nissan, the French state's role as Renault's largest shareholder, and potential opposition from politicians and workers to any cutbacks. Now, the market will be careful with these synergy numbers, as much has been promised before, and there isn't a single merger of equals that hasn't ever succeeded in autos. Now, with these sensitivities in mind, FCA proposed an all-share merger of equals under a listed Dutch holding company. After 2.5 billion euros divided paid to the existing FCA shareholders, investors in each company would receive half of its new entity. Now, this would be chaired by John Elkann, head of the Agnelli family that controls 29% of FCA, while Renault chairman Jean-Dominique Senard would likely become CEO. The Italian deputy prime minister said the proposed merger could be good news for Italy if it helped Fiat grow, but it was crucial to preserve jobs. He did not comment on the French government's 15% stake in Renault, but an influential lawmaker from the ruling League party said Rome may seek a stake in the combined group for balance of France's holdings. FCA Chief Executive Mike Manley also cautioned a merger could take more than a year to finalize. Now, a deal could help both companies address shortcomings, as well as the challenges of switching to electric and self-driving technologies and tougher emissions regulations. FCA has a higher profitable business in North America with its Ram trucks, the Jeep brand, but most money last quarter in Europe, where most of its plants are running below 50% capacity, and it may struggle with the new emissions curbs. Now, Renault, by contrast, was an early mover in electric cars, with relatively fuel-efficient engine technologies and a strong presence in emerging markets, but no U.S. business. Both are marginal players in China. The case for combination is also strengthened by the need to take bold decisions to capture at scale opportunities created by the transformation of the auto industry. Now, it can also have profound repercussions for Renault's 20-year-old alliance with Nissan, already weakened by the crisis surrounding the arrest of the Alstom former chairman Carlos Ghosn late last year. Milan-listed FCA shares jumped as much as 19% in early trade, while Renault stock leapt 17%. PSA shares fell 2.5%. FCA Renault, like almost every possible automotive pairing, had been studied intermittently for years by deal makers. But the fractious relationships between Ghosn and FCA's late CEO Sergio made constructive merger talks impossible until after Sergio's sudden death last July. Prior to his November arrest in Japan, Ghosn had revived discussions about a deal to bring FCA into the reinforced Renault-Nissan alliance. Now, the French government, Renault's biggest shareholder, supports a merger with FCA in principle, but will need to see it in more details. France will be particularly vigilant regarding employment and industrial footprint. Now, adding to any deal must safeguard Renault's alliance with Nissan. Now, seeking to soothe concerns, FCA stressed new opportunities for employees of both companies. The benefits of the proposed transaction are not predicated on plant closures, but will be achieved through more capital-efficient investments in common global vehicle platforms, architectures, on the powertrains, and technologies. Now, Nissan, which is 43.4% owned by Renault, would be invited to nominate a director to the 11-member board of the new company. Now, as alliance partners, Nissan and its affiliate Mitsubishi would benefit from an estimated 1 billion euros in annual savings from the merger FCA added. I mean, Mitsubishi is probably the biggest winner with Nissan here. So what do you guys think about a possible FCA Renault merger? Is it going to be good for the brand? Is it going to be bad for the brand? Anything right now is subjective, as we don't know the further details going in, and as it's too far into the future to actually see, as we know that this may not happen for a year. But this is big news for FCA to be merging with Renault. Let's see what you guys have to say down in the comments below. If you guys learned something today, feel free to give the video a thumbs up. Liking the video helps out the channel, helps out the video so more people can see it, and we can have a bigger discussion. If you also want to further support the channel, check in the description below. I do have a one-time donation through PayPal. You can donate $1, $2, it doesn't matter, but thank you for your donation and your help. Also, check out my links for my social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. See what I have coming out in the automotive industry next. Also, if you guys do love the videos, subscribe and click more for Ron's Rise videos. You can also click that notification bell to get the videos uploaded to your inbox as soon as they come out. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. Thank you for spending it with me today, and we will see you guys in the next Ron's Rise video. Peace.